Hola, good morning everybody. Happy full moon. Full moon in Pisces. It's August 31st today. I think the full moon's like happening now or a few hours ago. So we're in that portal of energy. I'm not an astrologer. I just listen to Astro like most people watch the news. Because to me, that's just as an accurate of update of trying to understand what the actual is going on. But does anybody know? I don't know. I'm somebody who's into the whole, like, know thyself. To thine own self be true. And, do it with a bit of love. We're good to go. Divine guidance and loving clarity for my lover supreme. I feel like some of you are being called to protect some monies. 9 of Pentacles. Ooh, or some of you are intuitively getting it's a prompt. Some of you are getting like an inner intuitive prompt that there's possibly losses on the horizon. 3 of Swords is here. 3 of Swords is heartbreak energy, being stabbed in the heart, being stabbed in the back. For some of you, it's a King of Swords. It's somebody in a position of power who abuses that power. Could be a lover, obviously, because your heart is broken. Or theirs is, but it feels like this is a reading, right, for someone within this collective that is dealing with a King of Swords, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius in the reverse. This person is not in their power. They're not in their integrity, and they've hurt your heart. Your intuition may have been highlighting this to you because every time, it was like maybe every time you hung out with this person, you would get triggered into just hardcore defensiveness. And then not know why. And it's because they lie. It's because they're not telling the truth, or because they're manipulative. And you're like, I don't know why I'm being so defensive. Because what they're saying isn't lining up with the energy. Okay, so your intuition is highlighting this situation to you. Like, I think maybe you've known for a while you need to make a decision about this. Probably to choose your own joy and stability rather than investing your joyful stability in somebody that you can't trust or somebody that hurts you repeatedly. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, for those of you endeavoring a joyful union with somebody, there is a King of Wands that's leading you into this 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups is our joyful happily ever after. Oh, what did I watch? I watched some silly movie on the Disney Plus channel called Disenchanted. Total's a little bit obsessed with that Enchanted movie with Amy Adams, and there's a song, Happy Little Working Song. I just freaking love it. and then Disenchanted, wowzers, it's like the sequel. And yeah, fascinating. She goes to the dark side and becomes a manipulative witch. It's brilliant. I'm not gonna, spoiler alert, no, I don't know. We're not gonna talk anymore about movies, okay? Let's get back into this reading. I think I was going somewhere, something about the dark side, I don't know. Sprinkled more lightness. There we go. We're good. I mean, but let's be real. Like, we have these movies or whatever, and then it's like real life is dynamic. Real life we can all put across. Recently, somebody was talking to me about just the nature of our humanity, and someone that, like, it's like love, well-being, and then behind the scene it's like a very different. And I was like, well, that's the way of the world. Look at Hollywood glamour, look at the politics. We all want to put across the image of Hala Shazam, yay, abundance, we care, whatever, except deep in the heart of our soul, that's not always what's going on. There can be resentment and jealousy and power games and power dynamics and like shady, wonderfully shadowy, dark, horrible, you know, or acting in ways that would make us feel guilty. Thinking about crime and punishment for some reason. And like, this is the energy too for when I'm looking at that heartbreak card. I'm like, we can be frustrated with ourselves. This is also, we're at a Pisces full moon. So Pisces does have a lot to do with me, with really coming to the end, closing, healing. It's the final sign of the zodiac, right? And it's the watery element, which just cleanses. It's like the big storm that washes the debris away, or the big wave, right? It's the vast ocean, and that all of us in our own collective psyche are in these final stages of purging our unconscious, right? Purging all the stuff that limits us, purging and clearing and healing the limitation of separation that we've been embodied and or been programmed with for however long. And healing our hearts and healing our connection to our own source, heart, whatever, is a big part of that process. So often is the case that our romantic connections have the ability to trigger out that heart space, right? It's not nice. It's not pretty. It just is what it is. It's a clarifying aspect of the heart center, right? So that we can perceive more clearly via the heart, which is empathy, compassion. It's beyond the veil. It's where you can see energetic exchanges beyond the spoken word, certainly beyond the actual physical transaction, right? There's a lot more going on than meets the eye. We just don't get taught about it in that paradigm, right? As in, I speak it very, very simply, the paradigm of separation, right? When we're born, when we think everything's separate versus we think everything is a reflection of our own perception. It's wild. It's a big, anyway, I'm kind of rambling, but we're going to crack on. I think for some of you, honestly, what you or the person you're dealing with, it's almost like there's a holding on to the past and a resistance to let go. A resistance to let go of what's already falling apart. Which can be a perception thing. It's pretty, I mean, yes, there's a lot of all the different signs, but these final few layers from the Osho deck are really giving me that sense of letting go. What was I just talking about with Pisces? We remain kind of in a gridlock, I think, when we're clinging to old stories and clinging to the past. Like, as in, is that here now? No. Find ways of letting things go. Emotional upheaval, emotional tears can often be a way, or activity, movement. Think of it, letting go is there is an action, there's a release of sorts, right? So this is something you're endeavoring. However, so long as you're indecisive, if that's relevant to some of you, you're what's that expression of, like, you're simply putting off the inevitable. Something's got to kind of crumble and fall completely to the floor before you can effectively put in new foundations to grow it. And that's an integration process. It's something, again, I find in our modern world, even in things like healing retreats, that we can do this work and then we just kind of, throw people back into the world. But there's like a processing and integration. People speak to this in that healing world too. Like, a lot of stuff can get thrown up, but then you're like, okay, we're done. Okay, bye. And that is part of, to me, that broader collective shift that has to take place, is that we can all shine light on what's the issue, but can we implement it? Like, worked with doctors, and from a yogic perspective, I've worked with doctors, and mostly they all agree. They're like, yeah, it's the actual working paradigm. It's the same for them. Often is the case that I'll work with a doctor after they've cut back their hours because on a physical, emotional, mental level, they can't sustain working 40, 50 hours a week and stay well themselves. So it's one of those, right? We, the people, have to prioritize our personal well-being because the system that we've been born into of a different time is no longer serving the greater construct of our human evolution, which, if we want to look after the planet herself, we do have to look after ourselves. We have to have some sense of these bodies in relationship to the planet, in relationship to one another from a holistic, not some weird, corrupted, stabbing each other in the back and stealing each other's resources and just dropping bombs and being at war. What the actual? What are you? You know, it's just not. Oh, look, 111. We're going to leave it there, I think. Stop clinging to the past. Open your heart. Heal, let go, and trust. This is your futa. Your futa is coming. Happy, happy days. Oh, we just spun out there, but who cares? I love you guys. Have an awesome Thursday. I'm looking forward to teaching some meditation this evening. September 19th, we're going to kick off our weekly Zoom yoga for you guys if you want to jump in, but it's free for my regular top tier patrons. And otherwise, you guys check out the YouTube channel where we've just published the monthly readings. And to stay in the love loop, check out altalove.com. where you can subscribe and just get my monthly newsletters where I'll share stuff that I'm doing online. Yep. Have a great day, you guys. I'll look forward to seeing you real soon. Take care. Peace out.